Bonjour tout le monde! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Yvette. I have been living in Geneva for 1.5 years now, and looking back, I reflected on all of the things that I could have done differently, and today I'll be talking about 10 things I wish I knew before moving to Switzerland. Let's get started. Number 1. Speaking the language will make your life easier here. When you're moving to a new country, I believe the first way of integration is learning the language. One thing you'll notice about the French part of Switzerland is that not many people speak English. I feel that English is spoken more in the German sides of Switzerland. So if you don't speak French, it can get a little bit more challenging, especially when you're dealing with the bureaucracy, or if you need like certain services such as plumbing or assembly services from IKEA, etc. Because the other person would most likely be speaking French and is more unwilling to help you in English. This is of course completely on us as expats to take the initiative to learn the language. But I can tell you that even after I learned French for 2 years in Singapore, I did not understand a word of French when I first arrived in Switzerland. Learning languages takes time, so don't be too hard on yourself. And with that being said, whichever part of Switzerland you are thinking of moving to, it can be the German part, French, or the Italian part, it would be good to know at least the basics of the language. Number 2. Apartment search can be a long process. Brace yourself for the long apartment search as the competition to get an apartment here is tough. When I first arrived in Switzerland, it took me 5 months to find a place. There are these real estate portals, but you will soon notice that the same apartments get advertised again and again. And if you ever receive a long email with a whole sob story, I'm gonna tell you straight up that it is a scam. You should never ever have to pay to go for an apartment viewing. You can expect to go for multiple apartment viewings. A great tip before you go for these viewings is to prepare your CV, your past months of payslips, your documents, the usuals, because the competition is cutthroat. I went to a viewing once thinking that I was the only one, but there was actually a line of people waiting to view the apartment at the very same time, and at the end of the apartment viewing, everybody left down their documents, and needless to say, there is a very strict screening process, and they would only pick the best out of the best forms submitted. Brace yourself for the long apartment search process, but don't worry, you will eventually get one no matter how long it takes. Number 3. Permit and health insurance should be your top priority. The most daunting part of moving to Switzerland? Dealing with the bureaucracy. I have to tell you that it is a painful process and it takes time, but it is the most important thing you should do when you arrive here. Focus on getting your permit done right, and there will be a lot of back and forth with the administration where sometimes they lose certain documents and you'll be asked to resubmit them. If you are lucky, you'll get it within 3 to 4 months. I only got mine after a year, and even after I got it, my birth date was printed wrongly, so I had to go back and get it redone. So it's really important that once you are here, just make sure to fix your permit, get your health insurance, and once you've got them out of the way, everything else is going to be so much easier. Number 4, get your health related checks done before coming. I would recommend getting health and dental checks before coming because it is definitely 100 times cheaper back home than here in Switzerland. And it would give you a peace of mind for a year or two depending on how often you go for checks. But I mean, if you really do fall sick in Switzerland, there is no choice, you have to see a doctor, you have to. Just to give you an idea of how expensive it would be, on my 2nd month of arriving in Switzerland, I had a little accident where I fell off the bike. Luckily, there were no broken bones, it was just a few pulled muscles, sprains and bruises. Nothing major, there was no overnight stay, but for what seemed like a 2-hour check at a hospital costed me 1k Swiss franc. So it's really important that you get your health insurance done the moment you are here, because I did not have mine. Yep, it hurts. Number 5. Swiss travel cards is a must. The public transport in Switzerland is very convenient. From intercity trains to trams to buses to mountain funiculars, If you want to get the most out of your Swiss experience, getting a Swiss travel pass will save you a ton of money. I have made an in-depth video previously on all you need to know about Swiss public transport and travel cards over here. Number 6. Get your driving license before moving to Switzerland. While you commute daily with public transport here, I would still recommend getting your driving license before moving. It would save you the hassle of having to learn how to drive in a foreign country. I cannot imagine having to learn all of that in French. I would never be able to get my license here in Switzerland. So, if you already have your driving license, all you need to do is to convert it into an international license and voila! It would definitely come in useful when you want to go on a weekend road trip with your friends, and you never know, as you are getting older, you might want to invest in a car for your daily commute in Switzerland. You never know. Number 7. I wish I knew how expensive Switzerland is. Since Swiss francs is 1.5 times higher than Singapore dollars, well, I expected that living expenses would also be 1.5 times higher, but I just didn't expect it to be so expensive. To give you a little bit of context, a McDonald's meal here cost $30 SGD, while it cost less than $10 back in Singapore. Yikes. It is much more feasible to buy groceries and cook all of your meal at home, and that makes cooking an essential skill to have. I regretted not learning how to cook before I came here. I would have struggled a lot less if I had learned how to cook from my mum. And cooking is just one of the 25 ways that you can make living in Switzerland more affordable. I will link my previous video up here so you can learn from my experiences and struggle a little bit lesser. Number 8. Sundays are really a day of rest. This is one of the biggest culture shocks I've had when I came to Switzerland. Sacred Sundays. The Swiss take Sundays really seriously. It is a legally enforced day of rest where you can't work, you can't mow your lawn, you can't hang your laundry on a balcony, you can't recycle glass at a recycling corner, you can't vacuum your apartment. You get it, the list goes on. And not only that, all of the shops close pretty early, even on other days. Like by 9 PM, it's practically a dead town. Oh, and don't make the mistake I did last weekend. I completely forgot that Co-op closes at 6 PM on Saturdays, and I had to eat scraps because I forgot to do my groceries before the stores close. So, yep. Number 9. Swiss rules and regulations can be interesting. The Swiss love their rules, even if it can be baffling from the perspective of expats, from the strict quiet times from 10 PM to 7 AM, where you are not allowed to make noise unless you want police on your doorstep, or buying pets are only allowed in pairs, or you can't recite poetry while skiing. Very interesting. If you are interested to find out more about the bizarre laws of Switzerland, click here. Last but not least, it is not easy to make friends here. There are many expats in Geneva. Your first group of friends will be fellow expats, as we all share similar experiences, so it's easier to relate to each other and find friends in that community. But I would highly recommend that you try making friends with a local, because it will completely change your experience here, as the locals would know more things than what expats and tourists usually don't. However, while the Swiss are really friendly and are always eager to strike up a conversation, it is really easy to make small talk, but if you want to be part of that inner friend circle, it's not that easy. It will take much more effort for the Swiss to open up to you. Maybe 10 skiing trips, 20 hiking trails, and 50 coffee dates later, but trust me, it would be so well worth it. I'm really grateful to be able to meet and befriend some of the locals here, and they are just the nicest human beings ever that are so welcoming and nice to me. So thank you for that if you're watching. That marks the end of this video. I hope you find it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!